You think Trump's going to win here?
Is that a serious question?
Beautiful. Joe Biden will drive this country into the ground.
4 years. Yes.
Thank you for not giving us the middle finger and enjoy your beach day today.
You guys fighting Biden?
Yeah.
How'd you like trying to find things in the grocery store? Because that is socialism, my dear. You ungrateful pieces of crap! Get out of our country!
So those are American voters there.
Well, obviously they don't like our country. I will say that.
They're American voters. They're Americans.
That's okay. I will tell any American. I don't care who you are.
This is going to be one of the most bitterly fought and divisive elections in American history, and I think we just saw a symbol for that right here.
American society feels like it's coming apart at the seams.
This is the most important election in the history of our country.
It's the most divided era in generations.
History be able to say that the end of this chapter of American darkness began here tonight.
And for many people, it's not just partisan politics at stake now, but the nation's democracy itself. Donald Trump's first term in office has been marked by civil unrest, nativist immigration policy, nods to white supremacy, and by countless political scandals, impeachment, and a public health catastrophe that has seen over 200,000 Americans lose their lives. He now faces his hardest task of the past 4 years, winning re-election at a moment of national crisis.
We will make America great again.
With 6 weeks until the election, I'm traveling in the US to understand how Trump's presidency has changed this country and how its people are responding. Pinellas County is a bellwether county in the swing state of Florida. Donald Trump won here by a razor-thin margin in 2016, and polls indicate it could go down to the wire here again. I've come to meet Democratic Congressman Charlie Crist, who is fighting for re-election here.
So did you play sports yourself?
This neighborhood was hard hit by the pandemic, and COVID-19 is at the forefront of most people's minds.
How are you all doing? I'm Charlie Crist.
We know. Do you ever age?
I know. Sign her up.
I think the pandemic was here long before the new year, and the fact that he kept saying that it was a hoax or he didn't pay it any attention.
We lost at least, 60% of our income, even when we came back.
I noticed that you didn't want to say Donald Trump's name. Is that because you think he's doing a bad job handling this?
We thought George Bush was a joke. Oh my God. George Bush is a great president compared to that thing that's in the White House.
Crist is the former Republican governor of this state, who switched to the Democrats in 2012.
I heard this criticism that he used to be a Republican and he left. Hell, he didn't leave the Republic, it left him. This ain't your father's Republican Party.
He was one of the first people in Congress to endorse Joe Biden for president, and in many ways, he's the embodiment of the centrist politics Biden is pushing.
I think the world of former Vice President Biden, he's got a real heart, he's a good soul. He's exactly what we need in contrast to what we have now. They're thirsting for change and decency and kindness and goodness to come back into the politics of America. And the current occupant has taken that away.
Are you seeing many former Republicans like yourself who maybe voted for Trump in 2016 changing their minds this time around?
I've heard a lot of that, yeah. A number of people that I spoke to right after the 2016 election said that they voted for Trump because they wanted change and radical change. And then they would say to me, but not this radical. This is out of control.
Despite what Crist is saying, it's very difficult to find people who have changed their mind about Donald Trump. And the most prominent displays of politics here are very obviously conservative. The Conservative Grounds Coffee Shop is a newly opened business designed to push the president's agenda and bring the conservative grassroots together. Cliff Gephardt is its co-owner.
This isn't busy.
No, this isn't busy. Is this busy?
Feels busy to me.
On our grand opening day, we had 1,000 people here.
This place is not being run by the Republican establishment, but by conservative activists, and it's become a major base for Trump's re-election in Pinellas County.
What's the red button for?
Well, you can push the red button.
I will be the greatest president that God ever created.
MLK?
MLK with a MAGA hat on.
MLK with a MAGA hat on. Yeah, I know that's a little controversial.
I was going to say, I think there might be quite a few people who would be a bit offended by that, maybe.
You know, everything offends everybody these days, you know?
You guys with Right Side Broadcasting?
No, they're with The Guardian.
You talking to these guys?
You gotta talk to everybody, man. Yeah, you gotta sell. You gotta sell.
Well, don't you like The Guardian?
No, if he was honest, it'd be different. But since you broadcast and you're fake news, what do you want?
Tough crowd sometimes, right?
It is tough crowd.
Many people here do not identify as party Republicans, but are drawn into the conservative movement by Trump himself.
This is Trump's party now.
It's absolutely Trump's party. I mean, that's obvious. There's never been another person in party, even if it were Reagan or anybody, that could get people to come to rallies, that could get people to wait out in the snow, walk, 7 miles, to go sit inside of an auditorium for an hour and listen to a man speak who's not playing a musical instrument or anything like that,
What do you guys make of the fact that he's quite far behind in the polling here at the moment?
Where was he behind when he was running against Hillary? 6 or 7 points, okay? It's going to be worse this time than it was in 2016.
You did so awesome that I'm giving you this bottle of Trump wine.
Wow!
And I'm just thanking you for everything you do here.
Do I know you? Oh, you're Holly. Oh, hi, Holly. Show me another coffee shop where this would happen.
Do you think this guy has become a power player in local Republican politics?
Oh my gosh, please. Trump would be so proud.
On some evenings, the coffee shop offers firearm training to its customers, but I'd noticed that no one here was bothering to social distance or wear masks. Before the class started, I asked a few questions.
Does Donald Trump bear any responsibility for the fact that almost 200,000 people have died in this country from COVID?
It's a lie. We're the Chinese. That's where the blame is.
I think he's done a tremendous job in managing the China virus, as we call it here in America.
I think that we've all been scammed, and I'll tell you, here's my mask.
This mask is useless.
This mask is useless, yes. I'm a nurse, yeah.
So what do you think, because you haven't spoken yet, what do you think about it? Do you agree with what everybody here is saying?
I think it's like the flu. I think that it's all about herd mentality, survival of the fittest.
Donald Trump won Florida in 2016 by turning out older white voters in droves. So we've come to a retirement community 100 miles inland called The Villages. It's home to 120,000 people, and 98% of them are white. The Villages voted overwhelmingly for Trump in 2016, but if even a small percentage of this demographic abandon him, he could be in major trouble here. The Villages became an emblem of Donald Trump's divisiveness earlier this year, after the president retweeted footage of a Trump campaigner shouting white power during a confrontation with Biden supporters.
White power! White power! There you go, white power!
This is quite a entourage you have here. That is a work of art.
We met with a group of Democrats who, despite being vastly outnumbered, are doing their best to get the message out. But here, it's not always easy to show your politics, especially if you don't belong to Trump's party.
It's gotten to the point where it's divided. Republicans stay with Republicans and Democrats stay with Democrats. It's been tough.
Most people don't dare to say who they're for if they're not for Trump. People you think are friends, maybe you learn we're more just acquaintances when you actually say who you're for.
You sound like genuinely moved and a bit emotional about it. Yeah. Has it taken a toll on you?
Yes.
I would say so.
Yeah, it's sad to watch. This is the they advertise the Villages as the friendliest hometown, right? And it used to be like 13. I've been here 13 years, and I've seen a lot of changes. And mostly it's and mostly it's the last 3.5 years.
I feel like Trump's made it more hateful. That's what I feel like.
Just like in Pinellas County, we struggled to find any former Trump voters who had changed their minds. Local Democrats even told us that promises of anonymity weren't enough to get people talking. But hidden amongst those Biden campaigners, we met Dan Gert, who was open about changing his mind.
I will not be voting for Trump this time. I think what he's done, his 4 years in office, he's accomplished very little. He's lied, he's cheated. I just can't vote for him. The country needs a change. We need to get back to our moral values, and he's not the guy to do it, in my opinion.
Is Joe Biden the guy to do it?
I believe he is. I believe he is.
Trump 2020 right there.
Go Trump! Go
Got it.
Trump!
No way! No way! Don't get in an accident.
It's quite a brave thing that you're doing, talking to us and saying that you're changing your vote, just in the context of what's happened here. Do you feel like you're being brave?
No, I don't. I mean, it's my option. I can vote for who I want to vote for, and if people don't like who I'm voting for, that's up to them. I really don't care. I don't have to vote for a dictator.
That evening, the group which held that now infamous golf cart rally was putting on a theme to Hawaiian night. Just like the coffee shop in Pinellas, this is a grassroots group not affiliated with the local Republican Party, but deeply loyal to Donald Trump. And again, no one seemed particularly bothered by the pandemic, as conservative radio host Malcolm Out Loud spread misinformation about the virus during a keynote speech.
Nobody knew how dangerous this virus was. Well, I've got information here from MDs and others that say this was never any more dangerous than any virus. So 94% had other problems, whether it be heart, cancer, diabetes, whatever it is. Many of those people died from 3 or 4 things. And what did the hospital do? Quickly, give me a pen. COVID. This thing has been politicized for obvious reasons, so that they can retake their power and reclaim the White House. And you know, what has their goal been since the escalator? What's their goal been? To get Donald Trump out of office.
Saying some pretty controversial and dangerous things about this pandemic, suggesting that CDC numbers have been inflated, that less people have died as a result of this virus. It's in front of a crowd of mostly over 65-year-olds not wearing masks. Do you feel comfortable giving that sort of message to people who are at risk?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. So you have to figure that this isn't what I said, it's the CDC that said it.
But they were all still killed by COVID.
Well, we don't know that. You're incorrect. I would disagree with you. We don't know that.
No, we do know that. That's
no,
the
we
official
don't.
number, and that is what Dr. Fauci and every single other public health expert in this country has said.
I think he's a fraud. Absolutely, and I'm not a fan. I think this entire pandemic has been a setup.
180,000 people in this country have died.
We can agree
to
to disagree.
That is objective science, that is confirmed by objective experts who are trained in this over many years of their career. And you have told a crowd of over 65-year-olds that they are at less risk of this virus by peddling a conspiracy theory.
We can agree to disagree. I've said what I've said already. Yeah.
Nice to meet you. This is terrifying.
This place is now a divided, troubled community. And while Democrats might hope that enough voters abandon the president, the race in this vital swing state is getting closer by the day. And I haven't met many people changing their minds. Donald Trump's presidency has become a lightning rod for misinformation on public health that is now mainstream in conservative circles. These days, even scientific facts have been politicized. And during my trip through Florida, I felt more and more like people were living in 2 different worlds.